Hello there, and welcome to today's training video. And today is all about the profile lines. And they're so amazing because so many of us feel so seen and so heard and so understood. So as we are diving deeper into the profiles, we're going to learn how to use them for leadership, because leadership is guidance, right? Firstly, of course, always self-leadership, right? Because we lead ourselves first before we qualify to lead anyone else, which is the same with guidance, right? We guide people in our very specific way based on the projector that you are, that I am, right? It all looks slightly different. I'm a 1-3 self-projected and I only have one channel. So my guidance will look very different from a 2-4 who's got all centers defined except the sacral and lots of different channels, right? So we're getting to know ourselves on a deeper and deeper level. And this one will be diving deep into the profiles. First, we'll go into the profile lines by themselves, and then we will look at the combined ones. And also, I want you to keep this in mind as you are going deeper into marketing and messaging, as everything we're doing in our business is really a recipe where we're getting more and more complicated, where we're memorizing more. It's kind of like cooking, right? When you first learn how to cook, maybe you learn how to cook spaghetti or how to make scrambled eggs, where it's just like one real ingredient that you have to worry about, right? You boil it or you fry it, or you hard boil eggs, right? Or you figure out how onions saute in a pan, right? Or you make a more complex recipe where you're putting potatoes and veggies together, and then you learn over time, because you know how to handle potatoes, that they have to go in first because they take a lot less time than the veggies might, unless it's carrots, right? So you're just learning the behaviors of all these foods, and then over time your recipes can get more complex because you know so much more. It's kind of like car driving as well, right? First you're like, oh my God, I have to do this and that and that. And then now you do it and you text and you drink and you eat at the same time while you're waving to the person in the next car. So this is what we're doing here, right? So there's not one video of how to do this or how to do that, but it's more like understanding how all these things work in your chart and then putting them together. Because marketing and messaging and sales is for us a lot like guidance, because we, in our marketing and messaging, we don't have that magnetic, big, enveloping, inviting aura that a generator type has. We use in our marketing the wisdom of our guidance and giving people kind of a sneak peek of what it's like to work with us, to be seen by us, to be guided by us, right? So this is why it's so important and essential that we know our chart and that we understand ourselves so well, and that includes the profile lines. So as you are listening to these, I want you to also keep in mind that this is also very much applicable later in the messaging and marketing module, but it's also for your leadership, right? How do you lead? How do you guide? So without further ado, I have them all here. So let's dive in. So the one line, so that's me, for example. That's if you have like a 1-3 or a 4-1 or 1-4, 5-1, all these kind of things. There's a one line with you, and the one line is all about foundations and knowledge, and it's also very much about introspection. That part is oftentimes not as acknowledged. It's really for you to build a solid base of knowledge, right? And a lot of that comes from the introspection and the wisdom that you've gathered, together with what you like to study, right? It is very much about studying deeply and building that foundational knowledge. And you can bring boldness and security through that solid knowledge to your clients. So what that means in your marketing is that they will really feel, and you can also really focus on that you have that solid base of knowledge that you can always pull from. Then the 2 line. This is very much about projection, right? So this is where you deeply and clearly see others and what others see in you and call you out for, but you're not always so aware of it, right? So when you have a 2 line, it's always very important that you listen what other people say that you're good at, right? And then you start seeing yourself that way. But this is very much a person also who has talents that they don't always want to own because they're like, I'm just good at this. I don't know why and how. So this is very much important for you to share from your passion, because that talent that you have comes from passion. So allow yourself to be compassionate and making yourself visible, right? With those things that you care about, that you care talking about. Then the 3 line, that's my other one. There's also like 3 5s and 6 3s and 3 6s and and us 1 3s. So that is very much about adaptation, right? Trial and error, experience, experiment. Like we just want to try it all out. Collecting our own personal data, right? Leading through experience. We qualify to lead so much. Like it's very much one of the leadership lines because we have dared to go through so much, right? We have a solid foundation of experience. Knowing and sharing what works for you and what doesn't, and sharing with humor and pleasure. So this is, because there's so much trial and error and failure involved, usually us 3 lines, we have a good sense of humor from all the shit we've gone through, right? So when that comes to your marketing, share from your experience, share your stories for your people, right? And do it with a little bit of humor, like, oh my God, that's life. Can you believe it, kind of thing, right? So that's our 3 lines. Then the 4 lines. It's very much about externalization. That's also, our community line, people who are very much about their tribe, about their network, right? This is also a line that very much is influential on the tribe and the network, and extended circle with a lot of heart and care. And this is also where in your marketing and messaging, you want to really focus on that caring aspect, right? You want to really make your people feel that you care about them, that you really want them to succeed in life or with whatever you're dealing with, whatever you are serving them with, right? Or whatever you're dealing with. But anyways, just really telling them, making them feel really cared for. It's kind of like mother hen energy a little bit. Then our 5 lines, big mirroring energy, but it's also like another beautiful leadership energy. It's all about universalizing. This is where you're serving and developing your own process for others, leading by helping people step into their true potential and bringing wisdom and solutions. So if you are a 2-5 or 3-5 or 5-1 or 5-2, you have a 5 line and you're very much a natural born leader made to create your own processes. Bringing wisdom and solutions, very solution based too, and fun side aspect is also you can look if you're interested, because we usually have all the lines somewhere in our chart. So you can look in your chart, where do you have a 5 line in a different position that isn't in your incarnation cross up top, right? But for example, I have a 5 line in my 44, which is also known as the gate of heart marketing. It's also the gate of truth, but it's very much about making things pretty, but also, in Gene Keys, it's the gate of, or the Gene Key of heart marketing. So I am very much set up to be a leader in like heart marketing development, creating my own process. And that's part of what I've really done with this program as well. So if you want to look if there are certain areas in your life where you have that 5 line energy, that seductive leadership solution-based, develop your own process kind of thing, then look where you have your 5 lines. And then the 6 line, our role models. So if you are a 3-6, a 4-6, or a 6-2, 6-3, then you have a 6 line, then you have this role model energy. And it's very much about collective leadership. So this is where you're becoming an example and a role model by going through your own deep transformation. Leading through example, even when on the roof, you can do that even between the ages of 30 and 50. You can already lead through example, right? Leading with embodiment and by sharing your vision. So when that comes to your marketing, it's very much, again, also speaking from your own transformation, from your own experience, from your healing. Really embodying, walking your talk is more than important for you than for anyone else, even though for projectors in general, and also the business paradigm where we're all working more toward embodiment and walking our talk is super essential, right? And sharing that vision that you have for the collective leadership. Now I had to yawn, sorry, it's not you, it's just after lunch. I forgive myself. I hope you do too. Oxygenizing. And now, so keep these all in mind when you are creating content, right? When you are marketing, it's like feel into where you're coming from. For example, then for me, I look at my combined profile, the 1-3, you know, like I always kind of check that in my head before I share something. Is it either one or the other or both, right? You build solid foundations through deep investigation in order to feel secure in your trial and error process. So this is what I do for myself, but this is also what I share from in my marketing and my messaging, right? I really let people know how much I know, how much I've studied, how much I've learned, and how much I've experimented, so that they can feel safe with me. It's not just about my own safety, right? But it's like I lead myself first into that safety, and then I can lead others. So while I read these others to you, just feel into, you know, how does that resonate with you, with how you show up in your combined profile, in your marketing and in your messaging. So for a 1-4, you want to understand things at a deep level, and then you look for ways through network and friends mainly to share that knowledge, right? The 1 line with the deep knowledge. The 2-4, hermit opportunist. You are naturally gifted, but at times unaware of your gifts. When you are doing what you love, you are recognized and called out to share your natural talents. Keeping that passion in mind too, from the 2 line. Then the 2-5, you have a seductive projection field, because both the 2 and the 5 have that projection field, right? You have a seductive projection field that attracts people to you who recognize your gifts and your talents and who need your support and your solutions. So really allowing yourself to be passionate and stepping into that seductive leadership, right? Really like owning it, that you are here to lead people and to create your own processes and solutions. Then our 3-5, martyr heretic. You know what works and what doesn't based on your trial and error process. So when people call upon you, you can provide practical and wise solutions. So that's also the making your own solutions, but based more on your trial and error that you've gone through. Then we have the 3-6. My daughter is one. You will discover what works and what doesn't work based on your trial and error with the 3 line, and evolve into a wise role model who people seek for guidance. Wisdom often comes with age. So really sharing here from your experiences and your transformation, like what do you continue to learn as you go through that journey, right? Then the 4-6, opportunist role model. You have a genuine ability in developing relationships and can influence your network. You will also grow into having and modeling a visionary perspective. So really that role model thing applied to the community, right? Really, again, letting your people know that you care about them and letting your people know how you have transformed. Then the 4-1, the opportunist investigator. You are here to build a solid foundation of knowledge and something that lights you up, which will then be shared with your network. So again, similar to the 1-4, you know, because it's the 4-1, but really understanding that that solid foundation is here to serve your network. Then the 5-1, the heretic investigator. You are here to guide. When it's the right time, you will be sought after to help others. You have both the wisdom and the practical ability to do as you like, to have all the information on hand before heading into something. So really a lot about like bringing solutions, bringing your own solutions from the 5 line, but then combined with that deep introspective and well-learned knowledge, right? So the 5-2 heretic hermit, you are someone who is sought after for help. Again, same projection field as a 2-5, very hard sometimes to see yourself, but you're sought after for help. And when it's the right timing, you are here to support them with your natural talents and gifts. Then our 6-2, and this is a popular one in my circle, you are the role model hermit. So really passionate with a 2 line, really good at things, not always aware of that, right? Not always wanting to own those naturally given gifts and being such a role model naturally. But really, again, you are here to be called out for your natural genius and innate talents that will help you embody your visionary power. That 6 line is that visionary power. Your influence will grow over time. But again, sharing your transformation, right? Sharing from your embodiment with your passion. And then your 6-3, your role model martyr, you will gain a tremendous amount of wisdom through bumping into life via your trial and error process that will make you someone who is sought after. And here again, that embodied wisdom from the 6, role model children, 6-line children are often already incredibly wise. And really, again, sharing from your transformation, but also sharing from your trial and error process and really allowing that to deepen over time, you know? So really give yourself permission to feel into how you can use this for your content, for your leadership, for messaging, marketing. And when you use it in this intentional, conscious way, it will just strengthen your energy, and people will naturally feel it and feel safe with you because you are authentic and you are just strengthening your innate blueprint in this way. So this is the profile lines, and I can't wait to hear how you play with this and how you use it, and how to keep it in mind, how you keep it in mind when we move into the marketing and messaging later. So post in the group what's new for you, what's exciting, and how are you going to use it for your messaging and marketing. I am sending you a big hug, and I will see you in the next training video.